was just made clear to me was that seeking and practice are not necessarily the same thing. And that engaging in an energetic discussion of what may or may not.
Energetic or egoic.
Yeah.
So you're going to have energetic, but it could be egoless, energetic exchanges, right? Like heart expression, energetic, right? Joyousness, energetic. Compassion, energetic. See? Humbleness, energetic. See? Selflessness, energetic. And ego has nothing to do with that. It's just energy. See? Happy energy, perhaps. And then you have the more self-conscious view of it, where it's more tightness, more concern about something more than nothing. And we're talking about resuming a more relaxed basis.
Yeah.
Because you control it. You can catch yourself in all of these, let's say, modes of self-consciousness. Right? You can catch yourself imaging and producing effects that are counter to what is being, let's say, relatively called spiritual energy. More calm, relaxed, open energy, receptive energy. Less in your face energy. Less with the fist. being wielded, swung around. For some reason or other. Except play. Maybe it's play. Yeah, play is okay. Official. Yeah.
So getting back to, say, a sense of humility and a sense of
dignity. Yeah, dignity. Yeah. I think it's related to a sense of mutual okayness and respect. That the situation is okay, safe. Yeah. Or not feeling put upon, particularly. Yeah. Not feeling messed with or disregarded and so on. We could say we need to recover our, to use the traditional term, higher self-awareness, better self-awareness, you know.
Is egoic behavior or egoic activity something that is a sort of defense mechanism against?
Could be. Against itself. It's always against itself. Yeah.
But also for itself. It seems like it only
For
exists.
and against itself. Say that, yeah. By itself. Right. So once it sees itself properly, and sees that it doesn't have to be itself in that form, it can go beyond that form. That form can dissolve. That form can all of a sudden become clearness.
So the force that is ego can evolve.
It's conscious. It needs to be conscious of itself. You can be conscious of yourself in the egoic mode, or when you get angry or tough or whatever. You can see the change. It's a change of flavor, tone, feeling, taste. See, vibration. It's a vibratory change. Then you have to get off the huff and the puff, and then you relax and everything becomes more pleasant, so to speak, clear, okay, better, maybe even more healing. It's mechanical. Self-programming is mechanical program. It's done so it can be undone.
What is ego?
Contraction. Tightness. Fear. May be justified, may be appropriate, but it is what it is. And relaxation is what's next. Once the tension of ego is undone, that would be considered a basic practice. Undoing that which does not need to be done, which is unnecessary to begin with, but is normal in terms of ordinary human behavior.
So what, when contracted, is ego? I mean, it's not
Contraction. Contraction. It is contraction, tension. Some would say a type of self-consciousness, say a reaction, say a reactive mechanism. Say. And sometimes it happens from the unconscious. You don't even know you've reacted. You don't even know your ego is all of a sudden manifest itself in fear. Yet you can catch it and say, oh, wow, I just heard that, I just did that. Wow, how did that happen? I didn't even know that. I didn't realize that happened. It's because of different levels of consciousness and in simultaneous operation. That's why practice means coming down to quietness, first and foremost, before the garbage comes up. Of ordinary reactivity relative to ordinary interacting with other peeps. At that level, not at the heart level, but at the self level. There's a theory of the Dharma, and then there's the realization of the Dharma. Most people get lost in the theory of the Dharma and confused by it. Because it's very confusing. For many people, it's very confusing. Life and death, not life or, life and death. And then if you add another element to it, say, no, they're the same thing. Could be more confusing to someone. That's the Dhamma. If we're talking Hindu and Buddhist Dharma, then we say, oh, enlightenment, what is that? Madness. So no, it's pure sanity. It's madness. Are they liable to do anything? Yes. Are they free to do anything they want? Yes. Well, that's madness. No, it's pure sanity. Because they're enlightened, they can do this. Oh, I see. Because we're unenlightened, we can't do that. It can be confusing.
How does either watching this video or sitting here and asking these questions get anybody any closer to the experience of realization?
Depends on whether or not what they see and what they hear brings them to a quiet place. Then we're talking about this symbol, of the quiet place, calmness and clearness. That's the whole purpose of the Dharma, is about bringing you to calmness that enables you to have, finally, a certain level of clearness, clear viewing, clear hearing, clear seeing, clear feeling, and clear knowing. Question? Obvious.
The theory seems like it can at times be very, very useful, very healing.
Depending on your evolutionary state, it could be the answer for you. You may read a line and then all of a sudden slip right into what it's talking about. And the language then becomes reality to you. Why? Because we are all made of the same potential, but not everyone has the ripe condition for realization in a certain way. So a person could be like a hair's breadth away from realization, just depending on the condition, the prompter, the thought, word, or action, or image that completes it for the individual, and then all of a sudden, boom. It's called the right condition. And that's abstract. What is the right condition? Who can know that for any individual? See? But it's called that, the right condition, the moment of enlightenment.
Yeah. At times the practice, or engaging in what we think might be practice, can feel like pushing a rock up a hill. You push it up.
Or being run over by a rock at the same time, being squashed by one. Yeah, crushed by one. Yeah, of course, it could be crushing.
Yeah.
It's interesting that is a certain word that represents gurus, crushing, heaviness, exhaustion, overwhelming. The burden of the knowledge, the burden of knowing, see? The heaviness of knowing anything. And its lightness, the heavy lightness of what is true. For who? Why?
You've spoken about realization like it's a gone moment, like all of a sudden, poof, here it is.
It's always here, and always not here at the same time. The is, which isn't. Go ahead. Paradox.
It seems like the achievement of that is, even the idea of the achievement of that is a little bit fantastic, a little bit ridiculous.
Enlightenment is that way.
Yeah.
The way of saying it's ridiculous. Gloriously ridiculous. Ridiculously glorious, let's say.
Yeah.
Liberating, exhilarating. Yeah.
What is, if there is any difference, what is the difference between what might be called the Satori moment, where there's a glimpse and...
That's the glimpse. See? Maybe that's the beginning, the start, that's the seed of it. It's not the realization of it, that's the seed. That's maybe a preview. Yeah. It's like happiness is a preview of radical happiness. See? A moment of bliss is maybe a view into blissfulness. See? Itself. Just a taste. All you can get is a taste. Excuse me, a fraction.
How is that possible?
Well, you do get it because it's your nature. Everyone is bliss in potential. So there are these moments that are called peak moments where you have to laugh. Right? Even for nothing, you have to laugh. Yeah. Positive release, and then there's you have to cry. Less positive release. Let's say it's more sad, emotional reaction. Same thing in a manner of speaking, but different vibrations. Happiness and then sadness, falling and happiness coming out and falling. You can laugh and cry at the same time, right? You can cry and laugh at the same time. That's very good practice. The paradox. It's insight into the paradox.
How is it possible that one can have an experience and for it not to continue?
You're having it all the time. You wake up, and you're in whatever state you're in, and that's subject to change depending on what stimuli arise, what data comes in. That is the constant. Change is the constant. So that is a constant. It's continual change. So it's the nature of samsara. It's continual change. That's what it is. Change.
And is realization separate from that in any way?
It's related to it. Realization despite changes. It's a realization beyond changes. A realization in the midst of changes. Then you have another paradoxical condition at that point. If you ever get to that sort of stability. You see, there's no change. In the midst of changes, nothing's changing. Since everything is continually changing, nothing's changing. And you get to that one. And then you get to the place where you say, nothing's happening. And I say, good, even better. Nothing happened. Nothing ever happened. It's even better. Nothing will ever happen. That'd be best for some. Who comprehends that, though? Who can get into what the real is relative to that? And it's all about state of consciousness, if there is such a thing. Level of practice. Depth of awareness. All of these possibilities. These different scales of being, knowing, and realizing.
Are there any, say, preliminary requirements? Are there any necessary conditions for
Realization. No condition is a condition for realization.
Does that mean?
It means exactly what it means. Since you ask and you're pointing, yeah, it means no condition, right? Which means, it's impossible. It's incomprehensible. Because you have to give it up. You have to give up thinking about it. See? And having to depend upon words and thought and language to have any sense of what is or what isn't anything. See? Mind. Self-thought. Mind.
Is there any, say, single thing that in itself, single thought, single anything that is sufficient to bring one to a sense of realization?
For someone, could be anything. Could be love. Could be bodiless. The word could be mindless. Knowingness. Zero. Heart. Someone else could be space. For another, it could be emptiness. Someone else could be Buddha. No issue. Zero, nothing. Wordlessness. And in that split second, a person can be delivered from self to selflessness. And it happens all the time.
Is there anything to be said on the permanence of realization?
Permanence?
Yes. Does it have a permanence? Is it
Realization is
enduring?
gone. Realization is zero. Realization is then becomes no realization. It's so full, it's transcending. Transcending. So gone, it's transcending. So done, it is peace.
When there's finally a sense of quiet, what's left to either ask or be concerned with?
Everything. If the neuroses is quelled, then it's a lot of openness. It's like much more intense potential. Yeah. And then we can say that creativity can be released. There's less conflict and tension and self-division going on. There's more healing, more peace, more joy, more abundance, maybe even more expression, and beyond expression. Beyond expression. Maybe it's just light. I know it's much more, infinitely more, than can be expressed or done. Empty fullness.